All right, we're going to go ahead and start this party. Welcome to the third in a three-part workshop series, helping you start to unleash that entrepreneur mindset. Today's focus is all about unprofitable to unleashed. We are diving into the dreaded money mindset, and we are going to help you really start to up level that 100%. And we're live in a couple places. We're here on the Zoom. So if you're live with me on the Zoom, chat will become your best friend. I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. We're going to be interacting a lot. This is a workshop. There is no pitch at the end. This is purely a gift of service to help you start the process of unleashing that entrepreneur mindset, truly stepping into this bigger and better version of yourself. We are culminating this month of the Unleashed Entrepreneur Group with a 5-part video series that is going to lay out the brain-based blueprint to automating success. So before I get started, I want to make sure everybody can hear me fine, that the audio is good, and that you can hear me over in the live stream as well. I see you, Lisa. Good to see you. If you're jumping in, let me know you're here with me live. Let me know where you're calling in from and what you're hoping to take away from today's live training. So I see Rosemary's in the house, Lisa's in the house, Amber's in the house. Make sure you're talking with me because this training is for you. And so I don't want you to just show up and take down a whole bunch of information. I want you to jump in and truly start with the idea as I am going to up level during this next 45 minutes. I know you have a lot of things you can be spending your time on, and I just want to acknowledge that you are showing up, that you are really taking the steps like a top 3% entrepreneur, like a top 7-figure entrepreneur, spending your time on the thing that moves your success forward. So I just want to take a moment and honor you for showing up, playing big, and being ready to up level that entrepreneur mindset and unleash it. So we've got Jennifer from the Bronx. I love it. So if I asked you this question, what does money mean to you? In the chat, in the comments, as a business owner, tell me what that answer is to that question. When I say money, what is that to you? I know that's an interesting question, but while we're waiting for the very top of the hour, one more minute, I want to hear what you have to say about that. Lisa says freedom. Lisa says freedom. Liz says freedom. Money equals options, Keisha says. Freedom and opportunities, freedom to help my parents and travel the world, Jennifer says. Awesome. Yeah. What else? Peace of mind, freedom. All right. We're definitely wanting to choice and safety. What else? What else when I say the word money to you as a business owner? What does that word mean? Security, Stacy says. All right. Now I'm going to ask you one more question before we dive in. This is the prelim, the warm-up. When I say sales, what does that mean to you? What does the word sales mean to you? Katie, I see that. Freedom and opportunity. Awesome. What does sales mean to you? We're getting a little early workshop going before we start the workshop. Love it. Service, challenge, drag, success, chasing, hard work, service, uncomfortable. What else? Money. Sales equals money. Options and flexibility. Necessity. Talking to new people, building relationships, coming out of my comfort zone. All right. Jean says transformation. All right. Let's dive in. I will explain why I asked those questions from you in a moment. We are here at the Unleashed Entrepreneur Masterclass, where we have had 3 masterclasses. This is the 3rd in the series. It's all workshop. Make sure you have pen or pencil and paper. We are going to get busy together today. I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. We are going to be unveiling what it looks like to go from one level of mindset to another in terms of your money mindset in your business. And we're going to do some exercises together to help start that up leveling for you. So make sure you stay connected, turn off the phones, close the tabs if you're like me, and just be present for the next 45 minutes to start to unleash this one thing. Because let me really lean in for a second. Without really finally removing this block of what money means to me, without doing that, we can't expect our clients, our future clients, and the people that we're going to be offering our services to believe in that more than we do, and therefore buy. So we've got to get our brain truly wired to think like a person that's already at 7 figures, so that you become one so much easier and much effortless. So I'm going to start out, and I'll keep my camera on as long as it's not getting in the way of the slides, but at some point it might, so I might turn my camera off just for your experience. What do you say, and this is where we're going to jump in the chat and the comments, what do you say about yourself, about why your business isn't where you want it to be yet? I want to hear that. Like, what are you saying to yourself about the why your business isn't where you want it to be quite yet? And like you said, this is going to be interesting if we're unpacking this. We're unpacking it together. So in the chat, what are you saying is why? Not ready until now, Rosemary says. What else? What else? Belief. Not ready till now. Can't find my audience. Don't know enough yet because I'm scared to take the leap out of fear of failure. I need more clients. Procrastination. Some circumstances. We suck at the start. Yes, the start is sucky. We are messy in the start, I should say. Money issues. I feel greedy that I'm versus providing solutions. Overwhelm. Carol says, not sure the product I'm selling, need to narrow down. So a little clarity there. It's not where I want to be yet because I'm still very new at this. So I'm not there. Lack of confidence. Okay. So you can see how the alignment of what we're telling ourselves isn't quite yet aligned with the person that has already achieved that. And so I want to tell you this piece of news that isn't great news, but is great news once you learn how to flip your brain success switch on. And that is your current income, where you are in your business, the level of success you're at right now matches your current thinking. And so the thinking that got you where you are right now is not the thinking that's going to get you to that next level. There are people that are in a place where even though they've gotten started, maybe right when you have, they've taken off. There's a reason for that. And it's not about the strategy and it's not about the tactic that they're using. It is truly about the thinking that aligns with where they want to go. How you think about money, about sales, about being with money, making money, having money, spending money determines how successful you'll be. Why? Because your brain will only allow you to see the success when you believe that it's safe to do so. And I mean believe, brain-based belief. When your brain feels like what you commented on in the first question, when it feels like I'm too new, I don't know yet, I'm not clear enough, and all of those kind of things, that is showing your brain it's not safe yet to be successful. And in order to keep you aligned with what's already in there that you've answered, it kind of pulls you back down. But we're going to break that down today and go into it deeper, because you know you're meant for more. Here's one thing I know about you. There's no doubt in my mind you were meant for a big mission, a big vision, a big calling. Otherwise, you would be probably working for someone else, not necessarily trying this entrepreneur thing. You would be okay with the status quo and you would feel just plenty fine and successful. But if you're here on this training, then you know that you are meant for more. You know there's another gear up there. You know that you're meant to impact and influence and really create a difference for people. And you know they can be bigger, but something gets in the way. I'm curious in the chat, have you ever had this conversation like I used to, where you're like, I'm following all the steps, I'm doing all the right things, I've taken all the courses, but it's just not working. It's like there's something missing, just a piece that is missing that you don't know what it is. Like there's something else in the way. And if you just could figure that thing out, then it would work, right? It would totally work. Yeah, absolutely. COVID got in the way. Yeah. Okay. So I love that you bring that up, because I'm going to be sharing a story in the Unleashed Entrepreneur group about one of my students, one of my clients that in the middle of COVID pivoted and has on her track to a 7-figure new business. So again, it's the thinking that gets you to the vision, that gets you to the money mindset that you want. And we're going to be breaking down those money mindsets. So you're going to have very clear vision of what it is the difference is, right? So here's what's going on. This is probably more common for the ladies than it is the men, but you go along through your young adulthood, even in childhood, and we want a few things. We want to feel safe. We want to feel loved. We want to feel enough. And in our family of origin, in our schools of origin, we learn what it means to be safe, loved, and enough. And I'll just tell you my story, and maybe you'll resonate. And if anything that I say is something you've heard, I would love you to let me know in the chat or in the comments. Growing up, I heard that money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work really, really hard for your money. Hard work equals success. And if you're not working hard, then how on earth do you think you should deserve to be successful? Hours equals success. And so the harder you work, the more success you should see. But somehow that's broken, right? Because you're working hard, you're putting in the hours, you're following all the steps, and so was I, but success wasn't coming. So then that leaves you to the conclusion of, oh my gosh, well, if this is the formula for success and I'm doing the formula and it's not working, I'm not seeing the success that I want, then what's broken? And then it brought me to like, what's broken in me, right? Why am I the special unicorn that this whole work hard equals success thing doesn't work for? I'm curious, is this something that you've experienced too? That if you've had this story growing up that money doesn't grow on trees, you got to work hard for your money, put in your hours, put in your time, make sure you're working really, 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 really hard, and then you should equal that to success. Now, I'm not saying that you don't ever have to work hard, but I'm saying if time equals money, then there's only so much time in the day and only so much you to go around, right? And then I also heard the story about those people, the successful ones. We would drive through these neighborhoods and I would hear like, oh, must be nice to have everything handed to you on a silver platter. Must be nice to have the golden spoon and have everything come so easily to you. The implication was to be there meant you were a bad person. You weren't a good person, a hardworking person that this country was built off of. Now, if that story resonates at all, if you've heard any of that in your past, I would love to hear yes, or that's been a part of my past, or I've heard that. One of my clients almost had the opposite experience where she was in one of those houses and had affluence and was judged for that affluence. Oh, it must be easy for you. Must be that you get everything. It's so easy for you, right? So whatever your story is, know that you didn't choose it, that it was created in the environment around you. And when we're young, we just absorb the environment around us, and it is on autopilot in your brain. Our brain is wired for efficiency, to keep things safe and familiar, meaning aligned with the stories that you heard. And it's from that place, 90% of your decisions, we know from neuroscience now, are made that create your business. So if 90% of your stories are still on autopilot in your mind, running from that subconscious place, and they are programmed like that, no wonder when you're trying so hard and you're doing all the right things and you're taking all the right steps, your brain is saying to you, that isn't safe. You've got to come back down here and just spend lots of hours, work on the to-do list, set more goals and create more to-dos. And at the same time, that success that you want, that business that you want, that breakthrough that you want, to your brain is a threat. And so what happens is all these things get tangled up And we want this great business. We want to impact, we want to make a difference. But this automatic story is like pressing the brakes to your success. You didn't choose it. It's not your fault. It is on autopilot, and it's running 90% of your day. And so your decisions, and the decisions create your actions, and the actions create your results. So when you don't have the results you want, we can look back at some of these stories that have never been challenged, never been neutralized or erased, never been removed. And now that you are a high performing entrepreneur, through a brain-based method, you can step by step literally clarify what you need to put in. And that's part of today's workshop. Erase the things that are holding you back, that wicked story that is not serving your better and best good right now, and then put that new story on autopilot so that it's running 90% of your day. And we'll dive into what are the phases of the money mindset that you go through so that you can actually visualize and see yourself. Where am I? And where do I want to get to? What's that next level? Now, we only have 45 minutes together today to break this down. We're going to go into detail on the success switch method for clarifying, neutralizing, and erasing and automating in the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series. It is a free video series, a labor of love to be able to show you the brain-based blueprint, exactly how you can stop chasing after strategies, stop putting in more hours, working from an exhausting to-do list, and constantly being on that work harder train that should equal success, but hasn't gotten you where you wanted to be yet. And truly leverage the power of something you already have access to that's efficiently wired once you tap into it to bring success to you easily, effortlessly, faster, and in a way that aligns with who you are and what lights you up. So that is what we're doing today. And the reality is your brain is not naturally hardwired to be a successful entrepreneur yet. And that flipping on of that success switch, having the success be safe and familiar, and having those success sucking stories like money stories or success stories or failure stories or worse stories, having those be neutralized and erased so that you no longer are held chained back by those things. And literally your foot being on the gas already, you just get to take your foot off the brake and fly. And so that's what we're diving into in the video series. But today I want to just break down for you some of the key pieces that will unpack the money mindset mystery for you. So I do want to ask this question before we get going. How many courses, strategies, processes, methods, funnels, etc. have you tried to get to that level of success? Have you tried like a million of them, just different ones, trying to see if you can't break through that entrepreneur glass ceiling? If you have, you're like most of us who that seemed the natural outflow of things. And here's what I want you to know. That is actually showing me that you're a very high performing entrepreneur that just needs to step into flipping that brain success switch on. Because as you're going up through these programs, it's not that the programs don't work. It's that the thinking that's receiving the program isn't quite aligned with the successful entrepreneur yet. And that's what we're having to do today. So please don't have course shame, because once you end up flipping this switch, all of those resources that you've invested in all start to work. And the strategy, although that's what we chase, isn't the actual problem. So we talked about the fact that the secret to the success isn't a strategy or a funnel or a tactic outside of yourself, right? It is your thinking. It's what you think, and therefore what you believe about money, success, failure, your worth, and your value in the marketplace. It's truly flipping on that brain success switch and erasing the automatic brain-based beliefs that are holding you back. All right, here's some of the blocks that I struggled with. If you see one that is yours, I'd love for you to comment. And if you don't see it, I'd love for you to comment what you think. But here's some of the things, how this money mindset block shows up. It's not investing in yourself or your business, like coaches that you know you need, but you say, I can't afford it, software, but expecting others to buy your programs, right? So we're not investing because of what we're looking at in our bank accounts, but then we're expecting other people to invest in us. Hesitancy for asking for the sales. That's one of the reasons why I asked you what you thought about sales equaling money, because your definition of money and your definition of sales, for the most part, didn't equal. And we will get them to. So decision not to raise your prices. Anybody struggle with giving everything away for free and not asking for the sale, or keeping the price so low because people can't afford it, right? Overworking, overgiving, and undercharging, not charging what you're worth. That comes like this. I don't think I'm expert enough to charge those prices. So that's one of those blocks, how they manifest. Someone fails to pay or you get a refund and you connect that with your worth. Like them refunding is saying something about you, about who you are, right? It's a signification of your worth. Doing your business all yourself and not hiring people because you're afraid to spend the money. You're afraid of the money. Or this, maybe you're moving along, right? And you're in the middle of launch, but you start doubting everything you've done. Like, oh, I don't know if the sales are going to come in. I'm not sure if this is right. So you start doubting. Or do you think, am I ever going to get this business up and going? Am I ever going to make this business profitable? These are how some of these blocks manifest. I want to jump in the chat and see what's the big thing. Okay. Not wanting to charge higher prices, undercharging. People can't afford it. 4 and 6. I love it. These many of these blocks, and doing it all myself. Absolutely. Stuck in learn mode. And that, just so I'm really clear, your brain is doing its job. Its job is to keep you safe and familiar, meaning aligned with what is already in there and programmed. So when you say things like, people can't afford it, I don't want to raise my prices, all of those things are your brain's way of keeping you safe, not successful, keeping you aligned with what is automated already that you didn't give permission to, versus the very thing you want most in the world. Not ready to launch yet, all of the above. Okay, I'm just looking back and forth at your comments. Struggling with setting a fair price. Yeah. All right, so we'll break through that today. So do you know what all successful 7-figure entrepreneurs have? They've learned that the way they think about money, about success, about failure, about worth, how they've trained their mind to work for them and not against them. We think they spend, or we think, like, when we're looking at somebody that we look up to, we think they spend 80% of their time on their strategy. But I have interviewed, of course, there's myself, and then I've interviewed over 170 different 7-figure entrepreneurs, and they're all telling me the exact same thing when I ask, what is the one thing that has created your success? What is the one thing? And I answer the exact same way. The one thing is I guard the way I think, and I always work from the vision and the way I think, and spending time on my mindset, on training my mind to work for me instead of against me. And that is hands down over and over and over again. They've developed a model of thinking that produces consistent results and income each and every time, no matter what's happening in the environment or what system or tactic is being used. So I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever seen a successful entrepreneur that's hopped around from strategy to strategy and funnel to funnel, just webinars? Imagine if Amy Porterfield, like, never mind, I'm going to do funnels, I'm going to do this, instead of doing webinars over and over and over again. You don't see that, right? Or what about this? Do you think 7-figure entrepreneurs move forward in their business focusing on what can go wrong? Do you think they move forward without confidence in what they were creating would be successful? I really want you to answer this. If there's any connection here with the person you look up to, that person, Do you think they worried about raising their prices, or if somebody wouldn't like their message? Let me know in the chat if you think yes, they did these things, or no, absolutely not. It will be uncomfortable. I have seen her. I have lived inside of her. So no, absolutely. Right. Here's a big one. Did you see them working 16 hours a day and acting like they needed to work harder to make a business successful? Mostly no. Okay. So if you continue to hold like these beliefs, the beliefs that the secret's outside of yourself, you will end up overworked with nothing to show for it. Just kind of hoping and praying that your next super stressful launch is a success. And that's not going to leave you anywhere, because I know it, because it was my stress success that had me in all of the places I just listed. So I'd love to say that that list was just a list of other entrepreneurs, but the entire list was what I struggled with. And it wasn't until I really leaned into the brain science of success and started to train my brain, not spend my time chasing after what everybody else said was the secret to their success. Just do this one, you're just one funnel away, or you just do this webinar that converts. The vehicles all work. It's truly the operator of the vehicle that makes all the difference in the world. So let's dive in. Yeah, I definitely want you to know that it's not your fault. You didn't choose these automations. These automations were imparted to you. But now, as a high-performing entrepreneur, you get to step into learning how to flip that success switch on. Because once you do, success is automated in the brain, and these success blocking beliefs neutralize and erase to the point where you no longer believe them on any level. And that's when things start moving so much faster. And we are going to break down the entire process of this. It is so easy and simple. When you watch this video series, you are going to say, oh my gosh, if I would have known how easy this was, I would have done this from the beginning. And if any of you are just getting started and you're just starting your business or just coming online with a business, there's no better way to make sure that your business is going to be wildly profitable and sold out than truly training your brain to transform your business. So I'd love to see you in the Unleashed video series so that you can get the brain-based blueprint to do this. But let's dive in to this brain-based blueprint for your success switch. So first I want to show you this. Some of you guys might have seen this before. I've been talking about the brain science of success, but I want to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do this first. This is your brain. These are thoughts. Now over here is a thought that is going to hardwire right there. See it? Boom. That's a thought you've thought over and over and again. Now you don't have the choice. It's firing without your permission. Now, a normal thought just jumps a gap. That's when you're still having the choice. But once it goes on automation, it runs without your permission and just fires for you. Now, once you do the brain-based work, flip on the success switch. See that one off to the left? You just pruned away those success-stopping stories that have kept you stuck and that no longer can fire across that pathway. That is the power of this work. And that is the power of what's available to you when you slow down a little bit to speed up, train into your brain the success pathways, and remove the pathways that have been holding you back for so long. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the 5 phases of an entrepreneur money mindset. And I want you to try to self-identify. And when you do, I want you to look at, now, how do I get to the next level? So we're going to go through this pretty quickly. There is a quiz available for you to be able to take in order to say, hey, where do I really stand? You're a stagnant starter if you're stuck in the safe zone. So here are some of the pieces. You're someone who's thought of building a business many times, but the thought of it is overwhelming. Right? You get a burst of motivation, jot down your plans, maybe even set a goal, but it gets quickly sabotaged by doubt. Either an unsupportive person close to you, maybe not having enough money to get it off the ground, or limited time from your current job or lifestyle stops you, and change seems hard for you.
Like working for someone else has been your safety net. We've had that safety net there because it just like we want it, but we haven't quite moved there yet. And what might be holding you back at this level is this. It's a fear of failure. It's likely the number one culprit that has taken you and kept you kind of spinning at the stagnant starter level. You believe failure is to be avoided at all costs instead of seeing it as a step-by-step towards a greater success. That fear of failure likely keeps you in a job you don't like, making money that's never enough. Oh boy, I was guilty of this. Always having a plan B. Always having a plan B, just in case the thing that I think I want to do doesn't work. And it definitely holds you back. And then when you take a step toward entrepreneurship, you kind of view it as a hobby. Like, you know, you can always go back to your real job, right? It's just a hobby. It's just a thing. If it works, okay. If it doesn't work, okay. And that kind of keeps you spinning and your wheel. And really having that plan B is keeping you from going all in and facing those fears, right? So what kind of things should you watch out for if this is where you're at? Ask yourself these questions. Are you letting your current reality limit your future? And just because money has been tight or your family doesn't support your dreams or you're working multiple jobs, it doesn't mean it has to continue that way. Your current income right now matches your current thinking. I'm curious, do you say all the time, just out of habit, like, I'm not good enough, I'll never achieve that success, or I have to work so hard for my money, and even then I might come up short, or making money is hard? All those beliefs right now are automated in your subconscious and on autopilot. And the good news is you literally have the power to erase those from your mind and flip on that success switch to change it all. And that's what we're going to be going through in the video series. Now, up a level from that would be your motivated manager. Now you're starting to see some success. You likely earn somewhere between $2,000 to $5,000 a month, or you have a mindset like somebody who does. So maybe you've made some sales and then it goes back down, and you've made some sales and it comes back down. But you are a motivated manager. You're on your way, but you still have that feeling of being stuck, right? You likely let others dictate how you make decisions and tend to focus on what you can lose versus what you can gain. You're motivated, right? But you tend to worry more than you're optimistic. And you're likely seeing this now that's what's keeping you stuck and acting more like an employee than a successful entrepreneur. And what might likely be holding you back at this stage is you want everything to be perfect, and it stands in your way of making progress. Sure, like you've heard of, progress, not perfection, right? We hear all that, just put it out there, just be messy, just go for it. You hear this, but you want to deliver only the best and certainly don't want to fail. So you procrastinate or second guess every move. I am curious, have you experienced that at all in your journey as an entrepreneur? You fear, this was a big one for me as I was moving up through these levels. You fear you're going to be found out. I'm not expert enough. What if somebody calls me out in the comments and tells me I'm not? So that fear of not being being found out and not being able to continue towards your goals almost chains you back from really playing as big as you want to. And here's what I know, because definitely I was here. You put on a strong face, you put your best foot forward, you're doing the things, but inside you're kind of worried they will figure out you're not the expert you are portraying, or your business dreams will crumble around you once they do. And you're constantly striving. You know what I'm talking about? That energy of striving for more money, that awkward moment when you pivot into sales. You're striving for more time. You're striving for more wins. You're just striving for more success. It doesn't seem to come to you easily. You seem like you still have to push it and make it happen. You do everything you can to make more money, but you're feeling stuck, right? You get small wins, some sales, and then it goes back to zero. And then you have to strive and launch and push to make it happen again. So what kind of things should you watch out for if this is where you are at? So I'd ask yourself, are you playing small because your comfort zone feels better than the unknown? So I want to land that question with everybody. Would you say that sometimes, maybe not all the times, but sometimes you play small because that feeling of the unknown is just scary enough. And so it keeps you in that comfort zone. Let me know if that is something that you have done. You love certainty. Now, listen, I got to take a moment here. I want to pause for a second. I get that I'm sharing uncomfortable things, but here's the thing. You didn't choose your money mindset. It was given to you. It was absorbed and automated without your knowledge nor permission. And anything that you identify with on any of these lists, just know that even to become the level one on this means you are a high performing entrepreneur because you're going for it. You're putting yourself out there. You're doing the things. So even if you identify with one of these things now, understand that is your brain has just kept you safe and aligned with what was automated, and the complete control to flipping the switch to the highest level of money mindset is yours. It's just a simple step-by-step brain-based process. So I want you to be encouraged. I know what I used to do is as soon as I would identify these things, I would feel like I would judge myself and I'd feel like, why am I not further along? And even if you're doing that right now, if it's feeling uncomfortable, just know that is even evidence that your brain is trying to keep you safe. And so embrace that uncomfortable feeling while we're on this workshop. And when we get through all of these levels, we're going to do an exercise that's going to help you start to move the needle. Know that the power to this control, to this money mindset, to success being inevitable, to failure being something that propels you, to your worth being unquestionable, and to your success being inevitable is completely within your grasp. You have to slow down to speed up. We got to get you in that video series and give you the brain-based blueprint, but be encouraged because you didn't choose the money mindset and you are now actively choosing to change it. And so I'm super excited for you, and I want you to be encouraged and know that now, just by seeing these, you're starting to take control of your future and of your success. So I wanted to say that for a quick moment because it's like, ooh, if it starts feeling uncomfy. So we'll keep going though. You love certainty. Certainty is a game that you can win, right? If I can see it, if it's in my bank account, then I feel like, okay, I'm doing all right. It's all like what if this happens? What if it doesn't come back? What if I don't get more sales? What's the next thing of business that keeps you on the ground instead of in the jet of your financial freedom and success? Are you being the lone wolf, trying to do it all on your own because no one could quite do it like you, with a very scattered, very long, never-ending to-do list? You can't see what the right goal, right niche, right path is at the moment. Your current circumstances make it a challenge because you don't have the clarity. You prefer to go it alone. And you don't want to let anyone down or anyone close to you see you fail, right? You manage your goals through those to-do lists. So when you start to move from that to that of a conscious creator, one who is taking your thoughts off autopilot, one who is starting the process of the success switch method, literally starting to train their brain, that's when things start to take off. You start to become a conscious creator. Now there's a whole nother level from here, 2 levels from here. So I want you to start seeing, if you were identifying with anything so far, this is where we're going to start showing your brain what it is we want and continue to up-level it through things. So if you're at this level, you're probably making somewhere between 2 to 5, all the way up to 10K a month, or things like somebody who does. Your conscious creator who's seen traction. So please stop and acknowledge that you've seen some traction. You've created some movement, and we want to make sure that you continue to pass from conscious creator all the way up to that unleashed entrepreneur. So here's where we're going to start seeing some things, yes, that are maybe holding you back, but things that can also propel you forward. So here's what I know about our conscious creators. You likely have a business that's close to providing you a full-time income, getting there, right? It's maybe some months yes, some months no, but it's getting closer. But you're always monitoring that bank account. We're always making business decisions based on the number in the account, bills, and living in that state of worry about sales. Staying consistent keeps you up at night. So it's no longer the I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing it now. I'm scared it won't be consistent. I'm scared it might go away, right? You're making decisions out of circumstances. What do I see around me versus possibility and inevitability? What might be holding you back at this level is you have those big dreams, but you don't always know the right steps to take to get there. You're becoming real conscious about your beliefs about business, but all the options can still be kind of confusing, right? So many gurus, so little time, right? Sometimes this can make you procrastinate. Yes, even at this level, when we start to get overwhelmed, our brain will use this safety release valve of procrastination to get us back to a reactionary business model instead of taking that immediate action, right? That keeps you from moving forward. You have a strong grip on who you are, your brand, and your business, and it's kind of keeping you from the team you need, meaning you have the grip and you've let no one else in, or very few. Because you have a personal brand, everything relies on you. Your business won't run without you. And that gets exhausting because you're making every decision. Your vision is only on your back, and you're the only one pushing it forward into the world. You know, freedom is out there, though. You've seen it. You've maybe seen it through me, or you've seen it through somebody else you follow. You know it's available to you. And outsourcing is on your list of things to do, right? But it just don't know where to start. How do I hire? Where do I hire? What's the right thing? What's the wrong thing? We're still looking for that golden nugget outside of ourselves to make things happen. Now, you're making good plans and you're starting out strong toward them. But if we're honest, you lose a little steam after a month or two. Can I get an amen on that one? We got all the ideas. And when one starts, it's not getting what I want, I'm just going to switch. I'm going to come over here and do this other thing. I'm going to move over here and do this thing because it feels more comfortable than staying in the resistance and seeing that first thing through. Can you tell I'm speaking from experience here? Oh, this is a big one. Troll leaves you a nasty comment and it knocks you out. Your worth and your work are tied so tightly together that one person's opinion that will never buy your products or services knocks you out. You're running your business pretty much on your own, maybe a VA. You get tired and you can't keep up with your own pace. Like you have a pace that you want to keep and you keep telling yourself, I wish I had more time. And lastly, you start feeling behind and it demotivates you. And it has you like re-strategize just to find a new system or something that might be the magic blue pill to make it all work, right? So what might I watch out for if this was me? I'm going to keep coming back when I can. I don't want to block any words for you. You're letting your fear of the unknown hold you back, or more often, it's creating the anxiety. So if you're in a state of anxiety all the time, knowing that if you stop, it stops, that's something that you want to watch out for. Fear has a weird way of sneaking in here when we least expect it. And uncertainty about the right decision and not seeing the full picture, especially in our bank account, becomes this weird hotspot of fear. And the fear of failure is what keeps you from playing big. You know there's another gear, right? But that's a risky venture to go that big. You're scared of failing and being judged. You're letting more information create more confusion and overwhelm. You are a sponge for personal development, courses, and learning all the latest strategies, funnels, and systems. Now, I want to pause for a moment here. These are also the things that will help your business grow. So please hear, I am not saying personal development courses, strategies, funnels, and systems are bad. They are the vehicle. We need the vehicles to help us get to the next level. We need the coaches. We need the personal development, our personal leadership, and we need those strategies. Here's the thing. We just have the quotient, the formula backwards. We're spending 80% of our time on this and 20% of our time on the thing that actually makes it all work. And when you flip that switch and spend the majority of your time making sure that everything that's on autopilot in your brain 100% aligns with the business vision and life that you want, then anything becomes possible. anything. You feel excited to learn new information, right? But then you feel the pressure and more confusion on how to implement because there's so many things to implement. And you're always wondering which is the right path to success. Like which one I know I'll do all this, I'll do it all, but just somebody put the flashlight and say, this is the one, right? And it just gets a little overwhelming. So I want to stop right there and say I'm seeing lots of yes, yeps, yeah, yeah, gotta be perfect. So you can see we're moving out of this place of inactivity or in like complete fear into motion, but behind the scenes there's still that, what if it all goes away, what if I can't figure it out, not totally being clear yet. The outside and the inside are still doing a little bit of a tug of war there at that conscious creator level. But then when we start to truly prime our brains, it's a specific part of the success switch method, which is called brain priming. We're going to talk that through in the video series. When we start brain priming and truly showing our brain what it is we believe and we are asking it to automate, then we move up the ladder to the inspired influencer. And in the Unleashed Entrepreneur group, some of you have taken the quiz already. I announced it yesterday. So some of you are saying, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And then I always get this like, hey, I actually am the inspired influencer, but I'm not making more than $2,000 a month. And the great news is, and I'm going to encourage you too, when you take the quiz, don't take it on how you think you should think. Take it on how you actually think. Because if you do that, then you're going to have true clarity on where you are. And you just I'm giving you the roadmap on how to move it to the next level and the next level and the next level. So be real with yourself, but know if you've landed in those categories, you're already thinking like someone, but there's another gear, there's another place to get to. So level 2, there's the Unleashed Entrepreneur is the final level. This is right underneath that, is the inspired influencer. You're likely earning somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000 a month in sales. You're on your way to thinking like a successful 7-figure entrepreneur. I just want to tell you that, like, you're on your way. You're headed there right now. You should be proud, right? You're making more money. You're impacting more lives. You're really leaning in to the entire thing. You likely have a team, maybe a couple VAs, maybe a full team, but you make decisions based on what you can gain now instead of what you can lose. But you still look in the bank account to make sure the bills are paid, and you still have to monitor what you're spending. You've tasted success, but likely have some plateaus along the way. And you know you need to change something to hit that next level, but you aren't sure what it is. You're on your way to influence the world, and you have such big plans. Can I get an amen on that one? You're on your way. You've got big plans. You know what you want. You're not letting it go. The sky's the limit, and the Wi-Fi is free because the work never stops, right? You're still in the work equals success zone. Turbulences of the journey still surprises you and kind of throws you off balance a bit, but your big goals do keep pushing you forward. Abundance is in the air. You know, abundance of money and time freedom is available to you. You're starting to see that it could be there. You're waiting to actually experience it for yourself, though. You're still waiting for it to experience yourself. So what might be holding you back at this level? Your calendar is booked and your schedule is planned out. You have freedom and flexibility in your day, and that's awesome, but it could be better. You really need to build out your full dream team to take over the 95% so that you can do the 5% activities that truly, truly create the next level of success. You're doing one of those right now. You now need to make sure the most productive parts of your business are income generating and not task related. 5% activities. A key thing keeps your schedule full and your team's sparse is your belief that money is available if you work hard. If you don't work hard, it doesn't happen, which still leads you to burnout if you are the only one driving that train. Overwhelm still creeps in. You've got your vision and you're on your way, but since you don't have that dream team supporting you yet, overwhelm can become unbearable at times, right? Your mind is still trying to juggle all the balls. Your brain doesn't 100% believe it yet. And if it doesn't believe it, you will not see it. So negative words still come in, even well-intended, that make you question and pause and lose momentum. You're tough, but there's still a few of specific people that really get to you and make you question everything. This is an interesting stage that you're in now as an inspired influencer, because to the world, you're successful, but to you, you know there's another gear, you know there's another level, and you know that there is something still that hasn't unleashed you yet into that lifestyle of freedom, impact, influence, and what you got into the business for to begin with. But you're moving, you're starting to go up the level. So I want to jump in the chat for a minute because I've been giving a lot of detail here. Right now, where would you say out of the conscious creator, the motivated manager, or inspired influencer, where do you think you're falling right now? I want to pause. You'll be able to take the quiz later, but if you haven't already, but I would love for you to say, which one of these three do you align with most? Motivated manager, the inspired influencer, or the conscious creator? I'm taking a look. Okay, inspired influencer, Emma says. Awesome. Okay, I want to see. We've got lots of people on, so I want you all talking because we're going to move into this exercise and I want to help you start to see your path to the next place. Carol says she's experienced all three in her business. So we want to get the last one on autopilot for you. Conscious, most of conscious creators, sometimes influencer, right? So you kind of waffle, depends on the day, depends on what's going on. Okay. All right. Got you. All right. Here's what you should watch out for at this level. And this is with all the love I mean in my heart for you. Are you still playing as big as you really should? Like, is there another gear, right? Do you still do some of the tasks yourself? Does the money story still keep popping its head up every once in a while that you must work hard for your money and nothing good comes easy? If so, we're just not on autopilot yet, on full automation in your brain. And if you haven't worked through the success switch method, then likely you haven't fully primed in that unleashed entrepreneur mindset. And there's still maybe some small stories holding you back that can be eliminated. And be careful, because if you don't deal with these blocks, you'll end up bringing on team members. This is one I've done with the same limitations that will literally keep you from getting to the next level, like a chain holding you back. And I don't want that for you whatsoever. All right. Who is ready to move forward to the confident conductor CEO, the unleashed entrepreneur? I want to make sure you guys are ready to start seeing some of the differences and seeing how a brain can truly hardwire success. I'm level 2 without. Okay, you're going to get there. So this is a trailblazing thought leader, right? You're likely making multiple millions each year, or think like somebody who does, usually around 20 to 50K a month, somewhere like that or beyond, right? You have a 7-figure success mindset, automated. Not occasionally, but on autopilot, operating 90% of your daily actions and decisions. You've created freedom. You're making massive impact. You're making decisions based on vision, and you have an abundant flow of money coming into your business. You can buy things you want and don't notice it because it doesn't impact your bank account. You realize that your worth has nothing to do with anything that you produce. I'm going to read that one again. Your worth does not equal what you do. They are completely separate at this point. You're grounded by your identity as a purpose-driven high achiever. The world needs what you're offering, which is why you're always looking to improve yourself, to get to that next level, and to continue to automate that mindset again and again. Here's what I got to warn you about, though. This is what could make you move backwards. And I don't ever want to see this for you. You're at the place that you need to show up big and not let any of those limiting stories hold you back. And stepping into your zone of genius 100% of the time, and only working on those 5% activities. So if you see yourself starting to go backwards toward those tasks, You've got to really hold that self-leadership high. Are you showing up as big as your vision is, right? As you continue to grow, you'll want to be aware of these beliefs about yourself, your business, your time, your money that will keep you from hitting even bigger levels of success. And you'll get really good once you know the success switch method of not being afraid ever again of moving to the next level or of any belief that pops up in your mind, because you know you'll have the step-by-step strategy, the step-by-step method that works for transformation every single time, because it's brain-based, science-backed. It's how we wire in belief into our mind, and it will be just at your disposal. And that blueprint is what we're breaking down in the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series. And I cannot wait for you to see this free video series. I think it's going to really be a game changer for you. All right, what else can make you move backwards at this stage? You have a team that you value because you know your business wouldn't be where it is without them, but they might not be the ones to take you all the way to your vision. So what do I mean by that? You have to keep re-enrolling them in the next vision, and the next level of vision, and the next level of vision. And there will be times that people in your team are only enrolled up to a certain level, and letting those people move on to the things that light them up is going to be difficult, but necessary for you to get to that next place. You may not have built out the team that can replace you yet. And so you want that to be in place. Do they need more training, or do they need to be replaced? Tough questions, but these are some things that can make you move backwards. You're ready for the dream team that keeps your business running like clockwork, with or without you, right? And that is the key. Your role is to lead, to prime the vision for your team to fulfill, and you're ready to step up to that next level with them. You're going there together, and that's when it gets really exciting. So being aware of these things is key for you to be priming into your mind for where you're headed. You should also kind of watch out for these things as this unleashed entrepreneur. You're changing your schedule to accommodate your mood. What does that mean? It means now I have the freedom to do whatever the heck I want. And that is also a blessing and also a curse if you do not have your brain fully, the success switch fully turned on. It's great when you wake up feeling motivated and amazing about the day, but what happens on those days you'd rather just play it small or go golfing or go to the spa? Is there something you're avoiding on those days, right? So really being aware that you still are susceptible to downshifting, and what else you should look out for? Do you lean into resistance? Resistance is actually something, and I want to bring video on right now. This is super important. What I see amongst most struggling entrepreneurs is they'll start to experience resistance, look at that as a sign that they shouldn't go that way, it's not aligned, and then pull back. Overwhelm, procrastination, perfectionism, etc., imposter syndrome. What reality in terms of, I want this business up here, this high level business, and my brain thinks the money is hard to earn, right? There is what we love to call cognitive dissonance. And the only way to make this safe and familiar in your mind and eliminate this is by leaning into resistance and eventually making what your brain sees as safe and familiar as that high level vision. There is resistance there. That's when we get to hear what's in those stories that is holding us back, and then take it through the success switch method that allows you to flip that switch on and no longer have that network running on autopilot that's holding you back. Resistance becomes your best friend. Be on the lookout for innovative ways you can stay in your zone of genius instead of slipping back in the doing mode or the needing to take control. Your team is there to keep you in place where you can provide the most income, impact, and value, right? So let your team manage you and keep you in that 5%. Always ask yourself, is this going to move my business forward? Is this the 5% activity that's going to get to that vision that only I can do? And keeping that 5-year vision driving your day every single day. So I want to dive in. Before we get started with this is a piece of the success switch method that we're going to do an exercise around. I'm wanting to hear from you in the chat and in the comments. What is the next level that you're hoping to get to? Are you at the conscious creator and wanting to get to inspired influencer? Are you already at that inspired influencer, or maybe back and forth between those two, and you're really gunning for that unleashed entrepreneur, that conscious creator CEO? Tell me in the comments and in the chat what level is going to be brain primed in for you. Which is the level that you are headed toward next? Because I want to start to get your mind focused in on what becomes possible, so you can start to make it feel comfortable to your mind and to your brain. So tell me, where are you wanting to head next? What are you wanting to think about money to get to inspired influencer? Emma says, what do you want to think about money? Allie wants to go all the way. I love it. So before we get started on this, Anita, I love it. The fact that you're starting out and actually learning how to flip your brain success switch on now will save you years of struggle and stress, and what I love to call stress success. Liz is going for level 1. That's okay. And again, guess what? If you had the conversation of, wow, this is probably going to be hard to shift levels, that is evidence of your programming on automation that tells you that doing things has to be hard. And what if I told you that it is as easy as those big chunky Legos, like, I don't know, not everybody has kids, but I had kids, and we had these big chunky Legos, and they were so easy to put on. If you can stack 4 of those big chunky Legos, you can literally flip your brain success switch on. It is step by step by step. It's science, and it's what my clients tell me. If I would have known it was this easy, I would have done this so long ago. So if you're giving yourself that story of getting from here to here is going to be hard, I want to challenge you and let you know that that is evidence that we need to remove that automation in your mind and truly flip that switch on. So I want to take a moment and dive into, how did this money story get there in the first place? And then we're going to wrap up with an exercise to take you through to start to unpack these things. And I definitely want to continue to put the link to the video series, because that's where we're going to give you all the detailed steps to the whole brain-based blueprint. And I want to make sure that you're signed up and ready for that. Okay, so this is what some of my neurocoaching certification students know as the neurocoaching model. This is the success, one of the pieces of the success switch method. And this is how we automate a money story. So today you've seen maybe where you are and where you want to go. And I want you to really understand how this process happens before we work into the exercise together and start to remove some of these beliefs and start to do the work together. So we call this affectionately STEBDAR. But what happens is, you had a situation, you were growing up like I was, right? And I heard things about money, about what it meant to be successful, what it meant to have money, what it meant to not have money, what it meant to earn money, what it meant to, my worth had to be tied up in my work, because if you're working hard, that's worth, and your integrity is aligned with hard work. So all of that happens around you. That's a situation. You didn't choose the situation. Most of the times it just happens. Now, by the way, this is how we automate any thought into our subconscious. But this is the model in which you unknowingly, without your permission, this money story lined into your subconscious, and also how we're going to start to flip the switch so that it isn't there anymore and you can put the one in that you desire most. So when you're a young adult or child, you don't even have a thought about it. You actually skip this line and you immediately go to belief. But as an adult, you have a thought about what happens. And then we know from science that the prefrontal cortex part of your brain, the thinking part of your brain, fires, although it's just a few nanoseconds before, but it fires before your emotional center of your brain. So we know there is a thought that creates the emotion. But I'd love to know in the chat, when something happens around you, do you think it or do you feel it? So just put think or feel. Like, something doesn't go right in your business. Are you thinking it like, oh, something's not going right? Or is it that gut wrenching, oh, I'm feeling it. Yeah, definitely feel. So that makes sense why You haven't been aware that there is a thought that got automated, because what happens is the thought combines with emotion, and those combine together after repeating about 67 times to become a belief. And you no longer have anything other than the feeling associated with it when it fires without your permission 90% of the time. So in the moment that a thought combines with emotion enough times that it becomes belief, if I'm your subconscious isn't moral. It does not look at your goal sheet. It does not look at your vision board. It just hears and automates what you repeat over and over again. It's its job, because we have 60,000 thoughts per hour. And its thought is fired through glucose. You saw it in the video. So if we actually had to think all of those thoughts, we would not be able to lift our head off our pillow in the morning. Too much energy output. So our subconscious is designed to be able to put these thoughts on autopilot that you're repeating. And then its second job is to keep everything that you do safe and familiar, aligned with that automation. So you can see, without your permission, that these things were automated when you were young or young adult, and they're now firing on autopilot without your permission. They are a belief. And out of that belief, we create our identity, right? I'm a hard worker is an identity. I am not that successful is an identity. I'm not expert enough is an identity that's been created based on a thought combined with emotion that's been repeated so often that it has become a belief. Now, from that place, 90% of the time, we know from neuroscience, it fires without your permission, meaning doesn't fire through the prefrontal cortex, comes from these subconscious systems. And then you create your decisions, actions, and therefore your results. So you can tell by this STEPDAR model, this brain science of success, we get to do two different things. We get to lean in on knowing how the brain works so that we can start to unpack what beliefs are in there. We can decide if we want to keep them or not, and go through the success switch method to flip on the switch so that you can choose what ones are in and what ones are out. So you can see how it's not your fault where you've automated right now. That has been on autopilot without your permission. So isn't it a relief to know that you have 100% control over the automation system once you know the step-by-step process, once you know the map, once you know the blueprint? You'll have control over what does get automated from here on out, and what creates success, and what you're available for and what you're not available for. How much more successful do you think you'll be once that control to that automated system in your brain that's firing your decisions 90% of the time is in your hands? How much more successful? In the chat, I would love to know. Right? You'd be able to achieve all your goals. It would be amazing. This isn't just a hype up motivation. That's why I love the brain science of success, because willpower is like a muscle. It fails. Just trying harder, how's that worked out for you? Right? But knowing that I have the key, the tool, the step-by-step blueprint in my control all the time to get to the next level, the next level, and the next level, that's control. That's empowerment. And then one thing I know about entrepreneurs, we like to have those things, and being able to step into that place and know that no matter what level I'm trying to get to, no matter what seems to be blocking me, I have the step-by-step method to clarify, to erase anything that's blocking me, and then to automate what I want. And so that's what we're going to be diving into in the video series, The Unleashed Entrepreneur. And I'm going to give you that brain-based blueprint. I'm very excited about that for you. Freedom, she says, Sergio says. All right. So we're going to wrap up with this exercise. This is an up-level exercise. So I need you to take out pen and paper. Make sure you're turning off all of your devices. All right, let's do it. All right. So we want to start with the first question. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to answer this. And when you're done in the chat, I want you to say done. Okay. What do you currently believe about making money? Just write down what comes to your mind. Write on your piece of paper there. Now I'm going to ask you another question. What does making money mean about you? Write that down. What does making money mean about you? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. The next thing I want you to write down is, what do you think about successful people? What do you think about successful people? So far you should be, on your paper, you should have written what you feel about, what you believe about making money, what you believe about making money means about you, and that what does it mean? What do you think about successful people? Okay. The next question, what does failure mean? And when you've written down what that means to you, you know the drill, right? Done. Now, the next question in this series of the exercise is, what makes you worthy? Worthy of success, worthy of making money? What makes you worthy? Yeah, what makes you worthy? Whether it's worthy of success, worthy of love, what makes you worthy? Before we go into part 2 of this exercise, I want you to read what you've written, and if you left anything out, or if there's more detail to the answers, I want you to add it now. So take a couple minutes, read what you wrote, and see if there's anything else you want to add to that list for all of the questions. So just take 1 minute, and is there any more detail, any more description, any other piece that you want to add to your answers? All right. So now we're doing what's called a mirror. Thank you, Stefka. We're doing what's called a mirror exercise for you to start to unpack the next level for you. So what I want you to do, and I want you to write down in the chat and in the comments, your person, somebody that you look at their business, their success, and it's something that you're striving toward. Maybe it's somebody you look up to, somebody that's a guru in your industry, somebody you're emulating, somebody that you're like, I want my business to be like that. Whoever that is for you, I want you to write their name in the chat or the comments over here. And it's important that you actually write it down here in the chat so that I know you're Lash Guru. I love it. Okay. So this is for you, not for me, but I want you to type it in the chat or in the comments here. Who is that person for you? We got to upload this person in your brain. So part of it is chatting. Oh, thank you, Allie. All right. So good. Okay. We've got them in there. All right. Awesome. 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 All right. Put that person's name over to the right on your paper. And obviously they're not here with us to be able to answer these questions, but I want you to go question by question and write down how you think they feel about making money. This is the first question. So how do you think your person, whoever that is, feels and thinks about making money? And I want you to write that down on your paper. What do they think about selling? What do they think about making money? Showing up big in that way. And when you're done with that one, put the number 1 in the chat in this comments. This is part of this slowing down to speed up. We want what these people have, but we don't slow down enough to say, where am I in relation to where they are? And so that's what we're doing right now. We're giving it, I love it. Beyonce. One of her songs is one of my pump up songs. So love her. What do you think that person thinks making money means about them? That's the next question. So write down what you think they think making money means about themselves. Okay. Next question is, what do you think they think it means to be successful? What do you think? Now, this is an interesting one. What do you think they think failure means? What do they think about failure? These exercises are designed to kind of be the tip of the iceberg. Thank you, Michael, for the 4. For you to start to really see automations that have been there and also see a mirror. And once you have that blueprint, you're going to be able to shift to this next image of what you really want to be at. And the last question that we're writing, as I see everybody's doing 4s, is, what do you think they believe their worth comes from? And what you'll start to recognize as you're looking at your answer and then your answer for the person that you look up to the most in your entrepreneurial world is the differences. And I'm curious, did anybody write down any strategies that they do, any working harder that they do, any of those kind of things? Or is most of the things you put down for you, the person you look up to, more along the lines of states of thinking and states of being? States of thinking, which creates your being, right? Out of thinking, thoughts create emotions, thoughts and emotions becomes beliefs, which becomes identity. So those are being, states of being. You can quickly see that that list for your person that you wrote down that you look up to are mostly different patterns of thought than maybe you have right now. And the great news about that is you don't have to wait until your business hits 7 figures to create that thought. We tend to get it backwards. Not our fault. We're indoctrinated into that in education. We're indoctrinated into that, like, put in the work, then you get the grade. Put in, raise your hand, then you get permission. But in reality, from a brain-based perspective, your brain has to believe it before you will see it. In other words, you'll need to start to create the belief in your brain using the success switch method so that your brain believes it, so that seeing it becomes so much faster, so much easier, and so much more effortless. Now, you can try the old broken way, which I love to compare it to like pushing a boulder up Mount Everest. Is it possible? Maybe. Is it probable? Not so much, right? And so you could try to continue on the old broken way of working harder, chasing strategies, using willpower, thinking you've got to put in your time, chasing after that outside in type of thought process. Or you can take a look at that list that you wrote, get excited and inspired, because in 67 days-ish, more or less, we can have that fully automated in your brain. So where when you're writing down the answers to making money, what it means about you, about your worth, what success means, what failure means, your answers will almost mirror that of the person that you look up to. And then imagine when that happens, how much faster and easier your success becomes. So that's how we start to shift this money mindset, not through willpower, not through trying harder, and all of those things are just, I believe in abundance. I believe in abundance. I believe in abundance. I'm holding space for abundance. Those type of things, they're symptom-based shifts that can potentially happen. But really, if you want a brain-based transformation where you're thinking that money is abundant all the time, it's circulating all around you, it's coming to you and through you and back out to the world, there's more than enough. Everybody can have more than enough. And it's a tool to be used to help people in the world. It's a tool to help AIDS orphans do better in the world. It's a tool to be able to help unleash entrepreneurs in the world. That's my belief about money now. It wasn't. And I, through this system, allowed my own brain to start leveling up and getting hacked, and brought it out to my clients, knowing I was not a special unicorn, and saw them get to 6, 7, and 8 figures. And I knew I had to bring this to you. And that's what I've been doing over the past 14 years, is helping entrepreneurs like you tap into this brain-based system, brain-based manifestation, step in, flip on that success switch, and finally neutralize and erase the only thing that is holding you back from the success that you desire and deserve. And there is no pitch at the end of this. It's only just to get you prepped and ready to hold space and time in your calendar for this Unleashed Entrepreneur video series that's coming up. We're going to dive through clarify, erase, and automate, and I'm going to give you all the steps to do that. This is how you get signed up. But what I'd love for you to put in your calendar, get signed up, join us in the Unleashed Entrepreneur group where we're doing all kinds of trainings like this one. There's quizzes, we're having contests, we're having a lot of fun in there with the main goal of helping you up level to that next level where you move from conscious creator to inspired influencer to that unleashed entrepreneur, doing the video series together and taking those trainings even deeper with some live coaching. And my aim for this time, it's 100% free. It's just to help you truly step in and up level that entrepreneur mindset, to remove the blocks that have been holding you back, and to give you the control and the power back to know that no matter what level, what thing you're going to go do, that you in your mind have 100% certainty, confidence, and you have the methods and the steps to get to wherever you want to go. So that's what we're going to be doing in the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series. It's coming up. I appreciate you being here today, and I look forward to serving you in the video series and in the Unleashed Entrepreneur Facebook group. You guys are amazing. Just know that you are the creator of your thoughts. So go create the thoughts that will create the success that you want. And I will see you inside the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series. Until then, bye for now.